Hello everybody and welcome to another RuneScape weekly live stream. We've missed you. I was sick last week and unfortunately we had to cancel our stream, and I hope you've all been well. It's been quite a while. And today hopefully you'll be joining us for quite a fun show, because as you know, we recently released a huge next chapter in the Elder God War saga with the City of Senntisten. And now we've given it a little time to be out there and released and be among all of you. We thought we'd take you through this quest with some of the developers behind it, talk about some of the stories of how this quest came to be and some insights into development, and watch Mod Spear hopefully get really scared by the whispers. Joining us today are Mod Rowley.
Oh.
And Mod Sponge.
Hello, hello.
And in the driver's seat, first time experience, this is like, we're doing it live, it's Mod Spear.
Yeah, I'm going into this completely blind. It's just good. And I've heard mixed reactions to that so far, so I'm sort of slightly... nervous isn't the word, but we'll see.
So for those of you who don't know, a couple things. Firstly, this won't be like our Azanadra Let's Plays where we've had a ton of fun going through and kind of narrating and voicing it. We may still come to this in that continuing series, but we wanted to just get something here because this quest has been so talked about. There's been so many questions and discussions around it that we just felt like it'd be great to get this done rather than waiting for us to catch up with part 26 of Azanadra's quest or wherever we are at this point. Also, for the interest of time, we're also going to start a little bit later into the quest. So we are kind of about at the, probably a third of the way through, just as we're about to enter the city for the first time. Mod Rowley, just before we go in, can you quickly recap for people who maybe just have a bit of a fuzzy memory or maybe want to experience this quest this way for the first time? There's something for everybody, just where we are in this quest so far.
Oh, of course, sure, yeah. So Spear's just taken down the notice that this is a spoiler warning for this quest, but I'll vocalize it as well. So if you don't want spoilers, probably not the right stream to be watching. So yeah, to recap, this quest, City of Senntisten, is a direct sequel to Azanadra's quest, and also to the Battle of the Monolith event and the mini quest there. So this quest kicks off at the heart, just outside of God Wars Dungeon 2. And you enter, you talk to Ariane and Karos, because the Elder Eggs down in the heart, the Elder Halls, have been agitated by the outpouring of Shadow Anima. So the three of you work together to come up with a plan to both move the eggs away from this abundant source of anima and towards a location that you can defend, because the Elder Gods obviously won't be too pleased with their eggs being stolen. So you kind of figure this much out, but you don't figure out where, and that's where your old friend or frenemy or whatever you want to call him, Azanadra, shows up in his new four-pronged head, I guess now, because he's a god and it's not a hat. I don't really know. He's just got four things on top of his head, and he's a god now. He comes along, kind of wanting to make up for the events of Azanadra's quest and to regain your trust and friendship. Proposes that you move your eggs to the City of Senntisten, which he's secretly been uncovering. Here we have the entrance, with some of his agents, with some appropriated Archaeology Guild funds, thinking, it's away from populations, it's a strong, magically defensible city, as history has proven, even though right now it's buried and mostly destroyed. It's stood the test of time for a good long while. Better than pretty much any other city could handle these days, and it's free of population of non-soldiers, so it seems like a good location. But you need help for this, so you at this point have run around a lot to all of your godly allies and said, "Hey, we need a hand." Yep, it's Azanadra, but hey, he's good now. I'm like, this is Cliff Notes here, so I'm gonna sum up really briefly. So Ixlarin's the only one that doesn't want to work with Azanadra, with Majorat. Has some other ideas in mind, so he's gone off to explore those. But four of the gods, Sarah and Zamorak, Armadil and Saradomin, all agree to come along for their own reasons as much as anything, which we'll maybe zoom through some dialogue for. And then after you've got their recruit, you come back and you talk to Dr. Nabanik again at the guild just south of here, and he directs you to the entrance. So lead us on into the city and we'll get the defences set up. Wait for our godly allies.
Thanks for the awesome recaps, Rally. So yeah, Spear, do you want to take your first taste inside the city? I mean, I'm sure you've seen a few glimpses of it so far, but
well, my current instruction is to talk to intern Jimmy, and my first question is, who is he based off? Because this has to be someone who works here, surely. That is the tan lines of a man who wears socks with sandals normally.
Well, the outfit may not be accurate to the person, but it's one of the team that worked on core archaeology.
Quest came and said, "Oh my god, the tan lines."
Yeah, sorry, I'm here to make weird observations and be bad at puzzles, so...
Oh.
Already.
Out the first step.
Over prepared.
Yeah, I'm basically else. Let's do this properly.
So, obviously, we talked about the fact that this has been excavated with Azanadra's agents and making sure that this is something that kind of happens. When you were designing this quest, like, how do you think about, like, why would you get the player to do this last bit of excavation? Is it you wanted the player to almost own that moment of, like, I've actually come into the city and this is you being the kind of first step in there, that sort of thing?
It's for a few reasons from a design standpoint. One, yes, for the ownership. It was something we identified with archaeology that we wanted to do. So, I mean, obviously, this is a mechanic we've pulled in from archaeology. It wasn't just to justify having an archaeology requirement on the quest. It does have that. I mean, it's kind of a small subtle thing, but like you breaking through, being that person to set foot first in the city, gives you that sense of ownership. But a couple of other reasons were anticipation, building anticipation. You can see this city beyond this space thanks to the lovely draw distance.
Enjoying the moment, just have a look around as well, but I feel like
what's amazing.
I'm going in blind, but I feel like it's also stopping anything else from coming out. Would be my original fear when I saw something like this in a game.
But like, there's anticipation in the first couple of acts. Like, we're going to Senntisten, that's why the city name is revealed early. And so, when are we going to get to the city? When we're going to get to the city? And then you get there, it's like, when are we going to get like into the rest of it? And there's this kind of staccato nature, this trying to build up anticipation for getting to run around the city. And then, there was another reason, but much less important, and I've forgotten it, so never mind.
I was going to try and make
actually,
it look cinematic. I did not have to try. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's funny as well, Spear, because I was watching some people on day one doing this, and they all did the same thing whilst they were excavating. They would all free cam and go up so they could just get a first view of the city, which was really cool.
I kind of love the cathedral at this point. Looks like it might be part of the skybox. It doesn't look quite real because of the way it fades off. It's like, it's just nice picture, bit of drawing, but when you actually get in and it's there and it's real, it's a nice moment. Sorry, anyway, I interrupted.
Oh no, it's okay. Here to hear about you. So I was just going to ask. Obviously, like, environment is a hugely important part of this quest. You know, I think speak for all of us when we say, like, we feel like the environment team smashed this out of the park and it looks incredible. And I know you, many of you out there watching, always seen some lovely comments from you that I know has meant a lot to the the environments team. From your perspective, Rally, like, does that change a lot about how you go about designing a quest when there's essentially an environment that needs to kind of, like, I guess it's chicken and egg, right? Like, my question to you is really, like, how do you balance designing the areas you need as a quest, but also working with artists to deliver something that looks real, that looks like it used to be a lived-in city and kind of is a place within the universe? Because it's probably our first quest in a while where it's been such an important part of the atmosphere, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Mostly on this one, I just left them to it. Like, the whole team had input. But because we've got a number of updates planned for this area, I'm not going to say any more than that. So we've got a whole roster of developers and artists kind of working together to say what they need. And I didn't want to add to that burden, so I just said, you give me what you make, and I'll make a quest to fit within that space, which is converse to everything else I've done in the past, where it's like, I'm making this quest and I need these areas to do it. So it was an interesting challenge for me from that perspective.
So, just a quick one on the environment design. This statue here, the Legatus Maximus, is Zamorak, isn't it? Pre him, becoming God Zamorak and taking over Senntisten. So my reading of this is that he's left the statues of him up and torn down the ones of everyone else.
That's just happenstance for the sake of the narrative. Like it's a bit, yeah. I mean, you see in a moment, I'm sure. That's a glow up and a blow up of the artifacts from Caridet. They look fantastic. Like if you examine it, they were never meant to be that big. They're only supposed to be like half a foot tall as effigies, but they look so good like that. So we just went with a larger size. They look really cool.
So now it's
Yeah,
canon
dude,
that you can carry around 28 of these.
Why not? Strength 99, baby.
It's no different from like whole sharks, but.
Yeah, and I think that was something that I really loved, was that like there was an element of using a restored artifact, because obviously I know I'm not spoiling anything for Spear because he has it in his inventory ready, but using a restored artifact in this is like there's that continual tie-in we've got with everything archaeology wise. Oh, I'm going to shut up now because he's going to get to. We got one little thing to do first, Spear.
He'll tell me this, but yeah. Can I just put the other one on the way how to do this one? Oh, cool. There you go. Good.
There's actually a cheeky line of dialogue
voice.
if you come prepared with one already restored. Like, if you somehow knew that you needed one before you knew you needed one, Azanadra is a bit uncomfortable with you carrying around effectively an action figure of him.
Oh, nice.
He doesn't like it.
I do. A lot of our quests have throwaway lines of dialogue, but if you've already come, having clearly looked at the guides, like, and they are always like my favourite part.
This old cathedral can be our safe haven.
Oh, it just looks so good. And this is something as well, like these are some of the only voiced lines in the quest as well. Was there a particular reason you wanted these lines in particular to be voiced out of all of them when we're doing a part voice acted quest?
No, I mean, we got the actor in to voice the cutscene at the start of the quest. And obviously we had him for a whole session of recording, so we just used the time we had. We knew we weren't voicing the entire quest, a ton of dialogue, lots of different characters, so we just picked those key moments that would stand out.
A bit ominous in the dark there.
It's got to know, as much as we love the environment, like the audio team smashed it on this one too.
Oh yeah, so good. I also like that you can go into the detail if you look for it, and not if you are a spacebar warrior, because I quite enjoyed like getting that first bit of knowledge about the city and everything that's going on from Azanadra here as well. That was like one of my standouts as well. Was, like, learning.
Yeah, I'm not going to have time to go through everything while we're doing this, I don't think. But I'm going to pick the key ones I want to know, and then I'm going to go back and read through the transcript of the wiki later, I think. God bless
the sacrifices you make for us, Spear,
I know.
as always.
Do you know how long I held off playing Azanadra's quest just for you to do it on stream?
To be fair. Now, Sponge, I know you worked on this quest as well, and you're also responsible for the rewards, and I know there's a ton of conversation about that we'll get to at the end of this stream, because I know there's some things we've already done to respond to feedback, and it's been really interesting. For you working on the quest, like, have we come to any of your favourite bits yet, or is it still to come on what you most love working on with this quest? Do you just have a favourite part in particular?
I think my favourite part's when you're actually out doing the quest. Obviously, you're doing the quest when you're out in the western part of the city. I don't want to spoil too much for Spear, but when things start getting a bit stressful, almost, and you have
massively stressful.
Four things you can do at once. I think that's really nice. How you can kind of do anything in any order with this.
That was pretty much intentional as well. It wasn't going to be out of order to start with, but the opening section of the quest is very much in keeping with how Azanadra's quest plays out, where you're running around talking to gods on the surface. So there was a very definite act switch and wanting to mix things up when you get in the city.
May not have been your original attention as well, Rowley, but it is kind of very similar to Desert Treasure, where you can go get any of the diamonds in any order, any of the wards in any order. Obviously, the diamonds and wards are very closely linked.
Yeah. Narratively, it was definitely a callback to those things. So I think it was inevitable that mechanically it would end up similar as well. But I think you pushed it, Sponge. I think there was a couple of things you said. I think it was the Bloodward stuff when you wanted to put the book somewhere else in the city. It's like, well, we should do all of this everywhere with all the other wards. It's that was the kind of moment during development where it switched and like, okay, we've really got something good here.
Mary Justin's asking, are the light globes and pedestals, not to spoil too much of Spear on what's coming up, a reference to the heat globes and pedestals from Garok in Temple at Senntisten?
100%, yeah.
I remember we were definitely doing the longest time.
Yeah, we're definitely doing callbacks to Desert Treasure and Temple at Senntisten. My working title for the quest was Cathedral at Senntisten, for the kind of brand awareness, but we really wanted to deliver on the city as the star. I mean, it was from day one about the city.
Right, my current job is to search the cathedral, but where does one keep a ward?
You have to find out.
Conceptually, do you pack them in boxes? Do you?
And there was actually something I really enjoyed was like there's a sense of so much like exploring in the city, like even just this bit, you know, finding there was balcony stairs to go up to that gave you different views of the city and all that sort of stuff was almost like surprising to me. You know, as someone who'd only seen this in our sprint reviews and everything, you know, I didn't ever get to play test it. It was quite surprising that there was so much kind of cathedral to like check around with. So there you go, found a mic over it. Yeah, it was just I really enjoyed that element of the quest, to be honest, and like you said, it carries all the way through, which is really cool. And to be honest, my favourite thing personally about this quest is when those God eggs show up, like, woof, like that was like chills to me because I was like, this is happening, right? This is escalating. We've been talking about this, and doing it, and it kind of gave you that moment of like, oh god, this is actually happening. You know, these things are here now, so it's kind of exciting to see it happen.
It was worth the pain, and there was a lot of pain involved with getting that working right. Animation glitches. Individually in the Elder Halls, the eggs have this kind of vibrating humming sound. When you put 3 of them together, it's really annoying. So we like tweaked them, harmonised them a bit. Like
my favourite was when they disappeared with remove roofs. That was my favourite.
Remove eggs.
We just calling it remove eggs and change it instead.
Oh yeah.
So painful.
Oh yeah, line. I apologise. Yeah. Height mapping them properly above the die as well. Just they were kind of clipping through them, and you could just see them poking up. So much pain, but worth it.
So obviously, like we're about to come across like kind of one of the main mechanics, which I'll wait until we get there fully to talk about it. But I guess when you go to a quest, is one of the main things you're looking is like what's the gameplay hook, what's the kind of anchor, and would you say what's coming out when Spear starts to explore the city something that came to you very early, or was it something that as you were making the quest it kind of was like, okay, this is a way we can do that spin on that heat base mechanic from Temple at Senntisten?
A lot of it came fully formed as an idea. Like it was because of the callbacks. But for a long time it was. So we knew we had 4 wards. I knew I wanted one to tutorialize some elements, and we'll see if it's the one you just completely run past or actually pick it up first, which was meant to be the intent, but a lot of players ended up not doing. Yep.
What was it? Because the voices are like, please don't, like, don't do it, right? They warn you.
Yeah, I mean, it's making you stop on purpose, and I think a lot of people maybe didn't recognise that there's this annex building like right away because they want to run into the city and explore, and run past it. But the kind of design was trying to aid Temple at Senntisten a bit with this one is a combat challenge, and this one is a puzzle, and this one's a bit of both. And that was the design, and that's kind of where Sponge came in and added a bit of specifics to it, to some of that too. The only thing that was really fully formed from the start was the shadow puzzle for me. Yeah, but we can talk about that a bit more when we get to
it. We're also keen to talk about the wards and all the different puzzles that come with them.
Yeah.
Setting up these camera angles was a pain as well. Not quite perfect, but like trying to get the eggs in every shot, but make them interesting, make the gods framed in an interesting way.
I think originally the gods came in depending on the ward you put in as well. Is that right? So you could have like Zamarok first, and then Saren, instead of this fixed order that they're in now.
Yeah, that change came about. Oh, sorry, you go.
You go.
Okay. That change came about. We did an experiment with this one where I played through the quest with Raven and Mojak as kind of like a writer's room, because they've done the same with Azanadra's quest, but just the two of them, just to try and shore up the narrative of the arc and the character arcs that we've got planned, and we changed the purpose of this. So before the gods talked about, what was it? Well, they kind of talked about forgiveness and friendship and trust and things like that. But we put it on its head and we changed it to talking about godhood, about responsibility, like Azanadra's new place in the pantheon of gods, effectively. But there's also still some things in there about trust and friendship. And it just made sense to bring the gods in a certain order, just so you can have this kind of escalation of the topics that get discussed. So you can do the wards in any order, but the gods arrive in order.
Alright, so now exploration starts for real then, yeah.
Yeah, there's a question from the chat from Warmonger1993, which is, I just want to know which creepy mod did the scary whisper voiceovers.
The actual voice, not creepy at all. It was the lovely mod Grace from 2018. There's probably some post-processing on that. It's definitely layered. She can't whisper like that in real life. It's like the voices that
Adam makes it creepy on Zoom.
Got a question here as well. Did you? B-Wellwin's asking, did you ever discuss having a boss fight in this quest?
I mean, there's still
I don't think there was ever a huge boss fight plan. Like, there was no nomad plan. We didn't want to take away from the city itself. Because I think otherwise it kind of, when you put in a boss fight, it becomes, the quest is about the boss rather than the quest is about the city here. That's why we've got the small combat encounters, but nothing too major.
And, you know, other reasons which will become apparent soon-ish.
There's a question here. I'll leave it to you to decide how you want to answer it. But Damon Thorne UK is asking, will the city ever have any use outside of the quest, or is this going to be just the only time we ever see the city?
I think the amount of time and effort that's gone into creating this place, it would be wasted just on a quest. Yes, we very definitely have plans. Lots and lots of plans.
A lot more dangerous than I was expecting it to be.
Perfect answer. I knew you'd answer that perfectly. It's a lovely way to answer it.
And just... okay.
Absolutely brute force in the gargoyle.
Yeah, barely as well.
That's how I do everything.
Yeah,
all our JVM stuff's coming into use.
Yeah, if we play that badly, we'll never get anywhere in the boss fights. Oh dear, okay, right.
This was the whole trick, basically. Like, gargoyles, they're a little bit tougher than normal gargoyles, but, they're not exactly the most difficult thing to kill. But the real trick was...
the darkness damage stacks, doesn't it? Yeah. So does the darkness damage get worse over time while you're in it, or...?
Yeah,
No one's going to tell me. There we go.
So,
the stat.
I don't think I
Is that-
can not touch on this room, by the way, because I know there was a lot of discussion about it. Anything you want to say in this developer commentary? QuestCave's already said, "Oh God, this room."
It's
I've
not
seen this.
Zemmer Eagles room. I'll say that much. The Zemmer Eagles thing was just an asset reuse from a different BDSM dungeon, if I can say that. Because apparently our game has more than one of them for some reason. Yeah, no, it was basically Mod Alex wanted to do some set dressing around the city, lots of things to tell a bit of narrative, bit of visual narrative. So I said, we got a couple of characters that are name checked elsewhere in the quest, and we can make this space theirs. And kind of just gave him a primer on what the characters were about, and just left him to it. And this is what we ended up with, and I had no complaints. Like, it's unusual, it's weird, but it was perfectly in keeping with the characters, so spot on.
Yeah, it's nice,
It's
and
just a
it
straight-up
kind of adds to
skeleton
that
in this
exploring
factory.
reward, right? What did you say,
Sorry,
sorry?
I missed that.
Sorry, you both spoke at once, and I missed both of them somehow.
There's this, just to point out, there's a skeleton in that guy's pantry. Just full skeleton.
There's a few of them dotted around.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a building full of them somewhere around it.
What's that? I'm stood in light. Stop this.
Nope. Yeah.
Alright, where next? Something over there.
If you turn your camera to, oh yeah, they just.
Ah.
No, never mind.
I'm not going to stop and read that there, but ooh.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
Gonna run the hell away first, yeah. Over here.
So where did you want the camera turned, Rowley? Sound like you,
It's
you
fine,
wanted to...
I don't want to get you killed. No, it's just the other room you could see there, which in the boarded up house, just the yeah, that way, that one is a nasty bit of narrative, visual narrative going on there. Some sort of vampire serial killer or something. I don't really know.
Mhm.
Whereabouts am I looking?
Downstairs through there. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
So
see that
this
at all
is
when I
your
played.
kind of your Fallout series style skeleton posing, but a little bit more sinister. Let's commit comedy here.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that person wasn't sitting in that chair with most of their body still intact, so... I think.
Somewhat, there's the skulls hanging from the roof that were nice, lovely decor. Right, get out of that. Right, okay, where next? That way. Oh, light pedestal, do that.
Couple.
It's kind of throwing me that there's so many doors that are marked on the map that I can't actually then go through. Which I guess is the point. But, right.
Yeah, we want to keep you focused on the ones that have content in for now.
Alright, he did say there's probably one in here somewhere. Search downstairs first. Let's look.
So wait until...
God, there's a lot in this room.
Indeed. Sponge, this was the puzzle you worked on, right?
Yeah, this is my piece, so I apologise for any headaches I might have caused with this one. I did manage to just about beat Rowley with it. But first time we played for it, he said I've missed something or I'm not getting it. So that was a very happy moment for me.
Yeah, I think there was one thing on the
Nitsubulu.
bit I glossed over.
Zodbane says Blood Puzzle was fun. Nitsubulu said loved the puzzles, good job. So I think people enjoyed the fact it was a challenge. To be honest, I think there's a bet in chat now, Spear, on when you're going to resort to the wiki.
I see. Okay, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Actually, I feel the pressure of this. Like doing this live on stream, like we're figuring this out. It's not a straightforward one.
I think it was step
Raven.
4. That's the one I missed. So I kind of glossed over that one.
I mean, I'm not even sure it's like a brute force, but just adding every type of blood to it till it works. But
blood 2x. Oh, sorry, blue 2x. See, I'm thinking of blood because we're in the blood war. But blue 2x4 said it took me an hour to solve the blood puzzle without a guide, but it was very satisfying to do it myself. I think like that's something I've enjoyed is since I caught up and got all my quest points, and now I'm doing quests as they come out. Like it's kind of driving me to not just resort to a wiki and like actually like enjoy doing the puzzles, because I'm not just I have to catch up and go through all the quests and I want to see what the story is and stuff. And like I have to say, like that is something that like I'm almost glad I've refound with RuneScape, is like not on day one not being able to just default to the wiki if I feel like this is going to take a while, maybe I should just wiki through it. It's been nice. It's been a nice change. Also, congratulations, because I missed that note, Spear.
Yeah,
that was the one I was missing so long. Gil R100 did.
Oh, sorry. Go on, no, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, I remember during a development, Rowley told me to cut this one down. I think this was about 4 pages long, this note at one point. So I just added in so much extra fluff that wasn't needed, and it just made pulling out the info you do need almost impossible. Yeah, I think I got a bit too into the dialogue between the two characters there.
I meant to ask you as well, Rowley, because I think I seem to remember it was talked about earlier and I forgot to touch on it. This is only kind of the affluent part of the old City of Senntisten, right? Like this is a particular, I guess, district of the city, right? It's what we're seeing around us isn't the entire City of Senntisten as it ever was. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's spot on, yeah. We picked some interesting locations, which we'll see little bits of as you kind of explore. They just coalesce together as being kind of a well-off part of the city, and this part that's buried historically is from a time when it was held by Zerosians. It's kind of like a time capsule in that regard.
Yeah.
Like other parts of the city were later occupied by Zamrak and then built atop or reappropriated by Saradomin. But this part is purely Zerosian. Kind of splintered off, buried. I mean, we use magic as an excuse for lots of things, like why you'd have a chunk of a city that's still relatively intact like this. But you'll go with the rule of cool, basically. It was all destroyed. You couldn't explore it.
Yep. I actually I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some voices coming through right now, aren't there? Someone's being kind of creepy to you, Spear.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the background, but am I missing a stock list somewhere that I'm supposed to be looking for? Because everything seems to refer to it, and I have not seen one.
One of the pieces of information will tell you where to find it. I had a question a minute ago I saw in chat. Someone asked on my personal account, did I have to look back at my notes for the puzzles, or did I remember it? That is firmly engraved into my brain. I'm never forgetting that. We had it pinned in our chat channels because it was such a frequent ask. Yeah, that was fun on my personal account. I think I zoomed through the quest in record speed.
Right, this is why I make my puzzle solutions like a bit simpler and the mechanics hard. It's just because I'm getting old and I don't remember stuff as well.
Speaking of difficulty, anyone who is not used to using Surge, I'm sure there's some players out there who haven't really ever made Surge part of their usual kind of movement in RuneScape. I'm sure very few, but I'm sure there are some. I can only imagine the pain they go through exploring the city.
I mean, I'm only running around carrying 2 weapons because one of them has mobile on.
Yeah.
It's perfectly doable without Surge and Bladed Dive. Maybe after a failure or 2, but
yeah, I found I even with double Surge I actually failed at one point, and then I discovered there's a way that you can when you're carrying a ward kind of make things a little easier, even if you don't have enough food on you, which I won't say because I want Spear to suffer the pain.
You know it.
Enjoy the torment.
Oh,
Yeah,
as well.
Be Whirlwind said have bladed dive and double surge and still struggled. Yep.
All right, let's go.
Hope you got a piece of paper handy for the.
If only there was an inbuilt note thing in game that's right there.
I've never used that actually. That's really smart. Just have a notepad running.
I use that to record how many D-meds I've had from QBD and different bosses.
Is there enough notes for that?
I'm at a few hundred so far.
Oh, that's interesting. Damien Thorne uses their notes for goals. That's a cool way to use it.
Yeah, that's what mine used to be as well. I used to have like what stuff I've got stocked up or what skills and stuff. And like need to do this quest and then this quest and then this quest, so I just remember.
Actually, question for you, Sponge, designing these puzzles. How difficult is it to come up with the core concept of something like this? Because like, if it's difficult to figure out, surely it's difficult to actually conceptualize it and make it something that, like, I've just never met anyone who's having to design puzzles or any other games work. So I'm just very interested to hear like what goes into making one.
This one was particularly painful. We had the location before we had the puzzle. So I kind of worked the puzzle around that, like what would happen at a blood bank. So the whole stock and withdrawals came from that. To be honest, the puzzle actually didn't really change from the initial conception. The only things that really changed are like the species that we use and the bloods. Well, actually, one thing did change. Originally, you had to deposit the human blood yourself, so you'd have to damage yourself. And that would be the reason for one of the characters awakening, was because of the fresh human blood. Cleared that out because it was just an extra step that kind of made it. It was information overload essentially, because you needed your own blood, you needed all the other bloods, you needed all this information. It got too confusing.
Okay. Is there? So there's a minute. Is each one of these just a single bottle of blood on that shelf, or can you take multiple from the thing?
You can take multiple, I think, but you don't need to.
Yeah, you just use parts of the bottles. Yeah.
I think at one point.
Oh God.
At one point we discussed that. I kind of wish we'd kept it, but like that voice when it runs out of things to say, we were gonna give it puzzle hints, like getting bored of waiting and like, oh, hurry up, this is how you do it.
Yeah,
that would have been a nice little touch, but yeah, unfortunately, didn't get that one. Can't make it too easy on people, can we?
No, exactly. Little interesting factoid is one of the blood bottles has a different examine to the rest. I don't think I've even seen that on the wiki yet, but I enjoyed just writing that.
Just a quick non-quest related thing while Spear does his mental calculations on what it's going to need for the puzzle. Heard someone ask about what about the walk animations, potentially bring some of the ones that are previously available into either the marketplace or Solomon's or anything like that, or the Oddment store. None of that has any updates since it was mentioned last on stream. It's on the hit list of things that I know the live team are thinking about, but there hasn't been any updates. I'll check in with the team later this week and just see if that's changed, but it's not something that like you should be expecting to emerge next week or whatever. It's just it's something on our hit list of things to explore.
Would you reckon, Spear?
Oh, okay, I'm just figuring out how things of this work. So you've got to get up to 8 doses to line up with everything else, right? Got that. It's just finding the correct mix then. Right, okay, so everything before stock take there shouldn't matter, right? Because this is what's in stock, and then it's whatever the difference is between the pluses, the minuses, and whatever's in there. That's a lot of math.
If you want to wiki it for the sake of time, no one will judge you.
7th, 8th. Hang on.
We
You
do only have
worked out
15
the-
minutes actually, or 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Oh,
you worked
yeah,
out
on
the crux of it. Just figuring out the numbers now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd support a bit of hinting or guiding.
1/8 dragon. I'm just working through them in order, so I think I figured out how it works. Now it's just doing the actual work. Come on, which one of these has dragon in? No, one of these.
That one had it.
I can't read. That's going to really help. Right. Let's go with that.
This is the most I've ever had to inventory manage in a quest, at least from memory anyway, I have to say.
Yeah,
Like
you're
balancing,
definitely-
like having food, all the bottles.
Goblin.
I'm sure there's worse examples that I played a long time ago that I'm not remembering in terms of how much inventory management you need to do, but...
Goblin's relevant demon.
Out of interest, really, what's your favourite quest that you've done?
Ooh, for me, I think it's still Ritual Marjarat and Children of Mar. Those are probably my two favourite quests in my history. They just felt epic, right? Like both of them kind of stood out to me. So, and I think like Ritual was like, because I was going through all the order of the quests. You know, back then, the kind of level of intensity in the quest in terms of how much was going on and how many characters were in and everything. That kind of shocked me when I got to it because it almost felt like much bigger than anything else I'd taken on RuneScape. I saw Devil's Load said Wild Gothic Sleep. That's another one that's amazing. But
Yeah,
I thought those were wicked quests.
There's an entire bottle of unicorn blood missing there, but I can't put the entire bottle in because that'll just fill the thing and cancel it, right? 6 and 5 8s minus 4 8s should be 6 1, and then there's 5 1 left, which means someone's taken an entire bottle of it. Is that the one that's being stored off site somewhere?
It's one of the rules you have to follow, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you refer back to the other piece, it'll tell you the rules.
Yeah, I remember seeing something like that, to move them off site. 4 1 4 8.
Got some one small favours in chat.
4 4 4 1.
Yeah, it's got to be
Trying
memeing.
not
I mean, it's
to
fun though.
It's
It's just longer than you expect, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Lord of Vampirium was amazing.
I
I think like some of the fights in that quest series were so good as well. His Sight of Alsa said the same thing as well.
I'm surprised we've not seen any Underground Pass. I really love that quest. That's like my nostalgic hit is Underground Pass.
Another quest with unicorn blood.
6 11 4
Unicorn that gets crushed.
4 12 4 12 4. Okay, right. I don't know what the other one I've missed is then. I thought I'd just gone through all of them.
Should we get Sponge to from memory tell you the
go
part?
Do you want it? You're gonna have to clear out. You've done something wrong already.
Oh, really? Was it the Avianti blood? Yeah.
I've forgotten it. Cool. Yeah. You
Alright,
need 2/8 human.
Alright.
Grab Avianti whilst you're there as well. If you've not.
Hang on. Oh, I'm gonna need the bag space to drop this one, so.
You need 4 bottles in total.
Oh, fine. Alright, yeah, Avianti, how much?
2/8 Avianti.
Yep.
1 dragon and 3 human.
Okay. Yeah, I can see why people found this difficult.
Just because we're, I'm conscious a little bit about time and making sure we talk about everything. I'm sure we're going to get through the remaining wars, but whilst Spear has this lovely showdown, Sponge, if we can go to the rewards, obviously the new Ancient Magics, I think we've seen a ton of discussion, one of the most discussed things coming out of the quest. And mechanically very interesting and new, does a lot to change the meta of rotations and the possibilities with magic. What's your thoughts on the initial feedback? Oh, what?
Gotta equip my freaking weapon because I've got.
There
we go.
Eat a shark.
That would have done it. You're right. It wouldn't let me delete the bottles.
I want to talk to you about, like, is there anything you want to say about, the initial reaction, the feedback, some of the changes that went in last week, anything you might be thinking about? Otherwise, like, it's your time to talk rewards, my friend.
Is there any questions regarding them? Put your questions in chat now, but I'll just talk about them otherwise. I mean, the responses have been amazing. I really appreciate everyone's feedback. It's been super handy on fine-tuning them. Still got some more changes I want to do. People are going to feel strongly about some of them, but I want to look into how powerful some of them are. Obviously, people might have seen my tweet that I was looking into smoke cloud with melee and range. That's still an ongoing thing at the moment. Obviously, it's a little on the strong side for them styles, so looking into that. Since conception, it never really was ancient magics initially. It was curses. I know Rowley originally pitched curses. I was too big of a fan of Desert Treasure to let him go down the curse route. And obviously, the thing with curses is how far can we push them? When we have viable next to curses, it's obviously kind of hard to upgrade them or go further beyond them without devaluing other stuff. I've got some of my old design documents here on the side. Actually, I'll see if I can see some of the stuff I had kind of blanket put down for curses upgrades that might be interesting. There was very little wiggle room, really. I think it was things like, if we did a blanket buff to just general curses, it was like protect items, now 2 items, woo! Leech attack now leeches more attack. From there, I kind of moved into different overheads. So we had I was pitching an overhead that increases your damage rather than mitigates damage. Which was kind of cool. I had them pitched for different things. So if you're using earth spells, this one's gonna make your allies gain extra adrenaline, or whilst you have this, your bleed damage is increased. The thing with them was it became even more flicky, because you'd flick it on whilst you cast an ability, then flick to soul split, then flick to protect melee when you're getting hit, and it just became an absolute fiesta. So yeah, that's when I then went to magic. There was other iterations as well. Had things like buffing smoke tendrils, for example, because I think that was originally from Dig Site. But yeah, and obviously smoke tendrils have never really been a winner. Something I'd like to look into the future, actually, to be fair, because it's still not even that great. But that was a route I was tempted to take, just giving smoke tendrils some love, and the other ones different buffs in other ways. The issue there obviously is that blood and shadow tendrils are already pretty good, so it's how far can you buff them more. That's some of my thought process, really. There's
cool.
I've got another thing written here. I just don't want to talk about it because I still want to do it.
Yeah, don't then. Save it.
Hopefully, I'll be able to get it out. It'd be pretty impactful if I
can. Can you say a word to? No, don't say anything. Actually. I just wonder what you're talking about myself.
So we discussed the different ancient thing, and mine was enchantments. But it was just going to end up being too big.
Yeah, alright, yeah. I think it was the right choice. We wanted to catch in on, we had Temple of Senntisten and Desert Treasure with the curtains and the spells, the original ancients. But then using the reward space to bring magic back up in the meta, it was a no-brainer, I think, when when you cottoned onto it, proposed it. It's just, it's a first step, but it's a bold first step, I think. More we can do.
There's a safe spot as well, Spear. I think this is a great area to show the environment as well with some free cam. It's probably one of my favourite little areas as well.
Gives me a moment to figure out where I'm going. Works for me.
Oh, that skybox is so cool.
Yeah, agreed. Again, I've just thrown the camera somewhere randomly and started moving. Oh my god, it's cinematic. I love it. Whoa.
Or Spears auto cine, and as well, like it's just like there's, I don't know, I just kind of the fact that the environment's so sprawling and every time you looked a different direction, there's something like I only just noticed that bridge that's broken where you come in the other day, and it's just I keep seeing things in it, which is awesome. It's really cool to see.
I feel like
I think this is
in here just finding little bits.
This is this quest area is instanced, and this is the first time we have a thing we call imposter squares, which you can't visit, but they're extra scenery beyond the borders of the instance. And this is the first environment, I believe, that we've done 2 maps deep of those imposters. With the city, the kind of sprawling city out to the distance. But the decisions for what's out there, there's reason behind it. It's not just to make it a more coherent space as the city. Like there's reasons. I mean, you can see in the top left of the screen, there's the entrance to the Colosseum, things like that. They're very well considered for the reasons that will become apparent. One of the kind of references that we had for the city was Yharnam from the game Bloodborne. So having that kind of multi-tiered, sprawling, expansive city was an aim as well. So the graphics team definitely achieved it.
This is your last gargoyle, isn't it, Spear?
3rd out of 4.
Gargoyle 4? Oh, 3rd out of 4? Oh.
Alright, you saying I've missed one somewhere?
Essentially.
Sure it's not number 4? You did the 2 at the start.
We'll find out in a second.
Someone in chat as well mentioned they like how they have the drop tables, and I'm surprised I've not seen someone post a granite mall drop. I do remember that happening to you, Rowley, when we was playtesting one time. Just a granite mall just like dropped out of nowhere. That was a fun little moment.
It's always a risk when you've got an instance area, like someone gets a rare drop, then for whatever reason comes out the instance, and it's like, well, you can't go back and get it now. But it's a minimal risk with gargoyles, I think.
By the way, I know I've seen this question a lot in the community. Acrylly asks, how huge is Senntisten to have such a big skybox under the ground?
It's been pushed way underground, and they're just like megalithic structures that are holding up the rest of the world. And it's your typical fantasy buried city, right? Yeah. Medieval fantasy style environment.
So I think we should probably touch on this for a second, because obviously, that's a very iconic laugh, and this is a building of some importance in the history of the city, right?
Yeah, I think we couldn't really do Senntisten without, visiting some Inquisition areas. It's prime area to kind of explore. Gives us the opportunity to call back to previous narrative arcs, other things that I'm not going to kind of speak more on, and to write nice diaries like this, like Inquisition profiles from the pen of this guy.
And as well, like I guess that's probably a dream, isn't it? As someone who loves the narrative as much as you do, where almost the puzzle and a reason to deliver extra deep narrative kind of comes together, right? I would say.
Oh yeah. And it was a good opportunity as well for yet more callbacks to Desert Treasure with those 2 characters, Titus and Degroda. Yeah. I don't know if there was a word that you said there that was maybe a bit of a layup to something else. I don't know. We'll get to the puzzle, but this particular puzzle, like as much as Sponge was saying, like sometimes what was it saying about puzzle inspiration? I can't remember what you said for the blood puzzle.
I can't remember the exacts, to be honest.
But yeah, you take inspiration where it comes, and this one I completely dreamt up. Like I just had a dream one night, and I woke up the next morning and wrote it down. It's like, oh, that's a good puzzle for RuneScape there. And almost like, apart from the kind of final configuration, like, it came fully formed.
I do love that like a puzzle based around drawers of all things is what came to you in a dream.
Yeah,
He's finally lost it.
the dream was more like a National Treasure film with
okay.
the Resolute desk. That.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Thing. But I love the idea
a
of
bit more glamorous.
Yeah, a puzzle based around filing cabinet. It's just like there's something about that appeals to me. It's kind of a Sisgate trolley type thing, just taking the mick a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Originally,
there's a question here. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, go on. Go on.
You go, Sponge. Go for it.
Okay. I was just saying. Originally, this was it wasn't names. It was kind of just random words that were going to be bolded in the journal. The issue we had was we'd then have to change the words and the puzzle solution depending on what language you're playing the game in. So luckily we managed to cheat the system slightly by going with names. And yeah, luckily they all came out into a nice pattern.
It was like in terms of approaching the solution as well. It's like we had two names. Like we had this journal as a delivery mechanism for the hint, the clues, and the two existing characters we used. But then we had that set up the thing in a certain way, and it's like we knew where we wanted to get. So we then had to kind of find a bunch of random letters that would get us to the solution, and work backwards from that to create the other two names. So that was really cool, and like the way that all came together, that was really nice. And so like, two characters just born out of an anagram, basically. It's like a bunch of letters, turn them into names. Who are these characters? And then they ended up getting a BDSM dungeon. So that's how we make characters here, apparently.
By the way, Spearfoot, just to help you, you missed one letter.
I was just thinking that. It doesn't. Someone said nice pattern. I was like, yeah, okay. I suspect I know what I missed. It will be a moment.
Think where you are as well, I guess.
Oh, for fuck. Oops. Bad. Dodgy box.
If you want to reset, there's a reset button on the wall there.
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah. Some good dialogue, yeah. Suspicious style.
I had a lot of fun writing these little references in.
Oh yeah, taking the journal for a second time.
Yeah, if you take the journal as well.
I've got the journal.
Yeah, take it.
Oh no, keep it.
Keep it and take it again.
Oh, I see.
No.
Like I said, I quite like having sidekicks. It's been entertaining so far.
It let me get in a lot more references than I do.
Yeah.
You finally broke the World Guardian.
Excellent. Alright, let's try and speedrun this then. G.
Speedrun.
Remember your alphabet. I. D. U. S. D. A. Somewhere around there. G. O has to be that. D. A. B. A.
I'm just waiting to see if this works out the same way where you missed one again.
If it is, it's because I spelt them wrong when I wrote them down in my notes. T.
I don't think you have.
Well, yeah, I didn't think I had either, but then it didn't work. But that draws out this time and it's not coming back in, I think, so I think we're good.
Sithari's asking, can we get a worldy title from a future quest, please?
Oh, yes, agreed.
But only if you happen to read a certain line of dialogue. We can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Hey!
Classic
Out of interest,
I typo of entering things on a draw.
If you do the eye shape, like just does it complete the puzzle, or do you have to go
You
through
can
that
just, you can just
sequence?
do the eye shape. Yeah, you can go straight in and
Okay.
just do the eye.
Oh, you could have told me that.
It wouldn't be a
that.
quick day to roll if we
Good
gave
point.
it that way. Yeah. Well, there was an extra level of meanness with that by starting with some drawers open.
Yeah.
Just that one extra step of logic of all right, yeah, of course. It's through some people.
Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
No, there is going back here.
Get your F buttons ready in the chat.
Yeah.
We're going to be
hurt.
running back to the Inquisition today.
That's good. It's interesting.
Not the time to
talking
explore,
point.
I admit, but the
Find the lights on.
Save me, Camelot.
I mean, it's the same quest anyway, right?
Yeah, I know a lot about making it safe. I worried that it takes the teeth out of the kind of danger, but you don't know it's safe until it happens the first time, so you still have that kind of dangerous feel.
Yeah, I was just trying to spot the gargoyle I've missed somewhere.
Should we steer you a little bit?
It
You
wouldn't
could
hurt.
be going all over.
Well,
the place.
if it's on the way, it would be quite convenient to get rid of it while I'm at it.
Yeah, it's on the way. Which would be a hint in itself. Then is there someone else want to get? But interestingly, they both started off up there. There was one on that balcony and the opposite one, but they kind of got stuck because their wings are quite big. So it was too easy to trap them. And
safe spawn.
Oh, those stacks! Like when those stacks add up, they really start hitting. I remember I got hit by 4K for one, and I almost had a panic attack. It was crazy.
Yeah, they
Light on the
if you
stand.
let them build up, they'll kill you from full health. I think it's 16 stacks is the insta death.
Oh, blimey. Alright, yeah. Where am I going? Gargoyle where?
We could play hot and cold.
I mean, right now it's very cold.
Okay, well, I'll do the
As
award
cold as you
first,
could get.
since I'm already down here.
You've delivered 3 wards now, right? Oh, right,
This will be number 3, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea to do that. Just survive this time.
That was not the right button, that has just cost me 2 surges. Oh dear, hand in the wrong place on the keyboard.
I saw some people saying they actually haven't been able to do it yet, even with double surge and blade dive. So I'll give you a tip that I discovered when I was doing this to help figure out the stacks once Spear's done it. I want to nom some foods.
Yeah, I wish you'd tell me now.
Please getting pretty big as well.
Yeah.
You're gonna need more than food.
You're gonna have to tell me now, dude.
If you keep your health topped up, you don't wait until you're getting into the red before you start eating. As soon as
the other thing
automatic skill max.
Yeah, and the other thing I discovered is there's a house on the way, and obviously that houses the indoor environments don't get affected by the dampening. So there's a house literally on the corner of the staircase. You can get rid of the buffs. The debuff. Let it like drain off, and then you can continue your run, and then you'll have a fresh, like less ticks of damage on you. Yeah, that's how I ended up having to do it. Because it only affects the light wards.
In that case, why can't I just bring a lantern?
They're special shadows. They don't care.
Yeah, it's not a special. It's not a special Zaros made Zaros brand light orb.
Can I not just carry Seren around? Would that not do the job? She's like light, right? That's basically a thing. The whole stick.
Seren light orb confirmed.
John 1112223. Yes, we would like. we talked about this a little bit earlier. This will not be the only time you come to the City of Senntisten. But beyond that, we won't say anything. There you go. Yeah, see, that's a great way. So now you can just wait for it all to fall off you and then go that way. And then you won't get hit by the big, like, half of your health hits from the spooky shadows. There you go.
And I got the right way up the stairs this time as well.
There you go.
Alright, take this cursed thing off me.
To be fair, you did the most difficult one, so at least in terms of distance.
Yeah, true.
I have to say, talking to Zamorak was my favourite dialogue of the quest in terms of his motivations for turning up and helping, and given like your history with him and everything. I thought like him in particular, his dialogue in this quest was particularly interesting. But I guess that's the fun of when you get to play with all the gods kind of coming together like this, right? They're all very not friends, and then they're all kind of forced into the same situation.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. One I think we can do a lot more with, and probably will. I really like the idea of. It's hard to know what to say. Like the idea of God Wars Dungeon, I suppose, where you've got all the gods that aren't fighting each other and they're working together. It's weird. It's different. And people wouldn't know what to expect from that, which is good.
Cytheree's asking if this is an answer we have, where who's more powerful at the current time, Zamorak or Azanadra?
Oof, I'd say that is not the right question to be asking. That's an unimportant question. You could put numbers on it. Doesn't really matter.
The top trumps for gods.
We've done that. That's our past, I think. Both in terms of putting power levels on God and actual top trump.
Yeah.
I think the more interesting consideration is where the source of Azanadra's godhood versus the source of Zamorak's. That poses more interesting questions than like, relative power levels. And that's, again, as much as I'm willing to say.
Firth RS is asking, what was your favourite part of designing this quest?
Seeing the environment come together. Like, for the longest time, it was placeholder assets. Really quite late, because, again, for reasons that will become apparent relatively soon. And it really, at the end, came together so quickly. Like,
It's literally there.
Mechanically, it was in place for a good while before we started getting final assets. And then within the span of about 2 to 3 weeks, it started looking like this. And it was like, where did that come from? Yeah.
Spear somehow missed the first. Here's a easy to spot gargoyle.
I mean, he's one stony boy on one stony floor. I mean, it's not.
This is the one I missed as well.
Camouflage.
They were in different places, and Rowley moved them, and I just couldn't find this one for the life of me.
Yeah, nice.
It's like that's again. It's supposed to be a tutorial. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to find these gargoyles. What do they look like? Where do I find them? It's like, oh, there's one right outside. Now I know what to look for.
I just assumed it wouldn't be that close. Like, we're not normally that nice about these things.
I think we've just established why I don't make the actual game tutorial. You could just get past it.
Right, give me the rock.
I'd never noticed that alley in the whole time I played, by the way. Kicking myself now. I went round the house. Took the long way around. Yeah, Umbreon, the shortcut was just so nice. I think we can just let Spear enjoy this bit now.
Yeah. So basically, we're being reinforced by all of the previous God War bosses so far, which I do approve.
F's in chat for Bandos.
Yeah, poor Gardor, all alone in his cave. With Nex, or is Nex coming too?
Oh, no one's arrived yet. Just the gods. In hindsight, I'm not sure it's obvious. I mean, I know it says it in chat, but it's not obvious that Kerapac there is like a projection, a hologram type entity rather than being physically present. Could just be seen as a graphical glitch, I think. I'd like to make that a bit
It could
clearer.
be a ghost.
Also, I guess as well, we haven't seen Kerapac since the end of Desperate Measures, right? Where he was re-enslaved. So, yeah, I guess like he could have changed for all we know. That's a good point.
The safe bet, yeah.
I remember that end of that quest, like it's such a sad fate that Kerapac has. Yeah, and like Sepulchre said, you know, where we re-enslaved him. Really, he's such an interesting character to me, Kerapac, and the way his story's evolved.
Yeah, couldn't pass up the opportunity in that dialogue to twist the knife a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just point out the irony that your roles have switched, and yet he's the only one that's been punished. So
Yeah.
he's got a big chip on his shoulder, and rightly so. Yeah, mostly just dialogue now. Do you have any other questions floating?
I don't. Chat, if you have any other questions, then please let us know. I know we're getting short on time. Also, want to just remind everyone who's watching that, you know, City of Senntisten is a really important next chapter in the series. The last quest before the Elder God Wars dungeon experience begins, and that dungeon experience will begin in July. If you can believe it, that's next month. We're about to tip into July, which is hella exciting. And you'll be learning more about that later in the month when we're ready to talk about it. So it would be a great way for you to start thinking about if you want to be up to date on the story. Make sure you've got this quest complete. You get some amazing rewards at the end of it. Some nice XP rewards as well for, what is it, Slayer, Archaeology, and Magic? Is that correct? Or Combat? No, it's Combat XP lamp, isn't it?
It's the Magic too, but yeah, Combat XP lamp.
Oh, Magic
and the
Combat,
rewards,
cool.
the rewards themselves will also prove useful. Well, one of them will prove useful from next month onwards because it's not currently useful, but the less said about that, the better.
Siveri's saying, give us some teasers of what next. I think this quest is probably the best teaser you could get, to be honest, of what's next. I know that's a teaser or a teaser, but yeah, there's if this is the best thing, is look at every detail on this quest, and it'll probably be the best we could give you. Sepulchre, I missed your question on the singing line from Light and Shadow, and the items found upstairs in the Inquisition HQ. If you can drop them again, that'd be good. Trailer narrative to the quest was so good. I'd like to quest to end with the "We Hold" line. It was so good. It's a cool line, isn't it? It'd be cool if that appeared again. Chase Unofficial. Given the discussion we had about Zamorak and Azanadra, I think who's the strongest god is probably not a question we'll go down. Just gonna sing it when it's here. When's the next installment in the series? I mean, I think it would be safe to say that like everything we've done with the Elder God Wars series, no matter what the kind of content has been, has had some sort of narrative tie-in. I think that's a safe thing to say. You know, you can expect our next content drops to include more narrative progression. Is that a fair thing to say, Rowley?
Oh, absolutely. That's something we've been doing far more of in recent years. The narrative does not need to be contained to quests alone, and like we've been freed of that particular shackle. So whenever the next update comes along, narrative's going to come steamrolling with it. So it's something I'm very much looking forward to.
Hey, I'm just trying to see if there's any other things. This place feels really big to traverse. Did you ever consider a way to move through it faster?
Yes. Not for the quest.
I mean,
it's not that big. I know we teleport everywhere in this game, but come on, you can use your legs.
I mean, that's what
Chunky
things like
Chef's
before. But yeah.
Chunky Chefs is asking, is Azanadra's power permanent, or do you need to feed or drain power to remain on a god level?
He is a god now, so he will need to follow the rules of other divine beings. I'm not sure how much we've established precisely what they are, but you can probably speculate from that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. And then I'm trying to see what the other one. I don't know if you'll be able to or would like to say anything on this, but Sepulchre asks, there's a reference to singing from Light and Shadow that references from the Light and Shadow that references Azanadra's quest, and then there's stuff around the room upstairs. Is that meant to tell us who was in here before us?
I mean, it's meant to suggest. Yeah, it's meant to suggest a possibility or an option. Is it the solution? Well, I'm not going to answer that, am I? So we'll leave that for the future.
All right. Brilliant. Well, I think that's all we have time for. Thank you so much, Spear, for holding off playing this quest. Like, this quest was like a day one, my first lunch break on Monday. So the fact that you actually held off for us so that we could do this live on stream, really appreciate it. Rowley, Sponge, thanks for joining us to give all that insight and to talk through it. We hope you all enjoyed this too. We've heard some things. There's some things I just want to touch on quickly. We haven't done a Q&A in a while. We've just been trying to work around schedules and stuff. We'll make sure that happens as soon as we can. And then also just stay tuned. You know, July is the month where the first front of the Elder God Wars dungeon experience will begin. You know, this is war. We've seen saying war is coming for every year. War is going to be here this month. And later in the month, you'll hear us talking more about it as we get closer to the release date, and we'll confirm exactly when you can get your hands on it and start giving you your first glimpse of what to expect. But until then, thank you all so much for joining us. We've got plenty more to come, and until next week, see you soon, Scapers. Ta-ra.